Hello folks, welcome into Paperhats Season 3. My name is Dr. Jankovic, and in the last episode we built a massive pit. This pit down here to be exact with the Enderman shrines, and we also just put deep slate tiles along the walls to make it look a little bit nicer. We're not going to be doing anything quite this mega in this episode, but we're going to have a lot of fun today. Fun like pranks, a little bit of building, and later on we might actually do some fighting of dragons with the other Paperhats members. And at the end of my last episode, we established this mine shaft down here. Now, the mine shaft at the industrial district is shot. There's really just nowhere else to mine there. I mean, I guess I could turn and go into another cardinal direction, but I figured it might be convenient to have a mine shaft at my base. I was trying to avoid this the whole season, but I've been spending a lot of diamonds and I want to make those back. So it's a real simple design. I've used some spruce and birch and a few trapdoors here just to make this little initial welcome area look a little more homely. And then over here we have the 4 cardinal directions. We're just making 4x4 tunnels, and from there every third block we will make a branch mine. I brought you down here just to give you a little bit of an update, and also we need to do an hour mining session. I'm going to try to do that every single episode from now on. I'm not going to bother you with a time lapse or anything. I'm just going to do an hour mining session, come back, and we'll see what we got. All right, I just got back from a little under an hour mining session, and we got some other resources. I've already dropped off my redstone at Redstone Island, but what I'm interested in is this 35 deep slate diamond ore. I don't think I'm going to break it down just yet. I'm going to store it in this barrel here, and then I think one day when we have 3 or 4 stacks, we'll go ahead and break that down, and maybe we'll do a guess the number or something like that. However, moving right along, you probably heard me mention something about pranks today. Well, that is what these 2 light blue shulkers are here for, and let me tell you a little bit more about it. I've talked about this before, but earlier in the season, TakodaMae and DanTheNoodleMan pranked me by putting this creeper face on my base. Now, it did come part of the base, so I can't be too mad about it, but it did have some explosions in the background. I wasn't sure what was happening when I first discovered it. But as far as I can remember, I never got them back for it, so I think we should make that right today. So, unfortunately for TakodaMae, I don't actually know if Dan has another base. Now, his starter base at spawn has already been pranked at least twice, I believe, so I don't want to prank his base again. We're gonna go over to Tak's base and prank her giant Azalea temple because it looks awesome, and I haven't messed with it yet, so we'll see what we can do. So number one, this place just looks awesome. I mean, it's absolutely mega. I mean, look at it. You don't really realize how big it is until you fly up against it. One thing kind of stands out against the rest, and it's this giant dome up top. Now, she's been talking a long time that she is supposed to be decorating the inside of this thing. I don't think she's going to do much to the outside, but that's what we're here for. Now, when you're looking at it like this, what does this remind you of? I could definitely tell you what it reminded me of. It reminded me of one of those old-fashioned beanie propeller hats. I'll show one on the screen right now. And I think we should turn that into it. This is the part where I'm really hoping she'll get a kick out of it. I hope she doesn't mind mining too much concrete, but we did have to convert 2 entire shulkers of concrete, which took a little while. It took about an hour or so. A little bit of dedication went into this prank, but let's get that time lapse rolling. All right, that did not take as long as I thought it would. It was only about 45 minutes, which is pretty cool. I was a little worried with something as big as this, she would actually log on and catch me in the act, but that is not the case. It's actually pretty late. I waited until she logged off for the night to start this, so I thought we were pretty safe. This is the finished product. If I could go back in time, I would make that propeller just a bit bigger, but this is going to come down anyway, of course, because I'm confident that she's not going to leave this here. But it is pretty hilarious, I think. Looking at that dome, I sort of thought of a beanie hat like this, so decided to turn it into one. And if you're curious of the signs I left her, I basically just said, "Tak, I never repaired you and Dad for the creeper face. Hope you like it. Looked at your dome and thought it looked kind of like a beanie hat. Yes, I know these are a lot of blocks. Let me know if you want help removing them." All that would not fit on one sign. That was really annoying. And also the message under the concrete was not me, Dr. J, because, and now I'm using my free cam. If you notice this top layer of copper here, somebody has waxed it and said hi. I have a feeling I know who that is, but that was not me, so I wanted to make sure she knew that. So yeah, Tak, I hope you like your new beanie hat, and let me know if you need help removing them. What a magnificent hat. So switching gears here, we're back at our base, and behind this Enderman, behind me, is actually a lush cave. In the last episode, I asked you guys if we should uncover it and make it a part of the base or leave it hidden, and I got 2 responses saying yes, I should probably make it a part of my base. So that's what we're gonna do. If we want to make that cave a part of our base, first of all, we're gonna have to make an entrance for it. And what's difficult is, I believe, yep, it is lower than the glass here. So we're gonna have to have some sort of balcony drop off here, or alternatively, we can try over here and see if there's a good way to make a path down. And doesn't look like there is, but we can use the power of terraforming. I do like the idea of using this corner here in a way, and then we can just actually get some stone and build a path around here to the floor. All right, there we go. I really like the idea of having this like a tear in the wall, you know, something kind of imperfect, something that busted through into this cave. So next step, we should probably grab some stone and make a rough path down, and then we can go back and actually make it look good. Alright, and after all that, here's what we've got so far. And I went ahead and included some pressure plates and buttons here on top of the glass, as if it's debris or something from when, you know, whatever made this happen collapsed in. But we've got a rough draft of a little path down here. You can see how it sort of forms. And the other notable thing we're going to have to do is basic cleanup. I do want to trim back some of these, maybe delete some of the vines here, just so they're not so prevalent. And, you know, it looks intentional rather than it just being completely wild. This thing back here, the back of the Enderman, we're going to have to make it look more cavey, you know, because right now this kind of looks ugly. So that's something else we need to do. So let's do a little bit of cleanup, shall we? Guys, I have to admit, I got a little carried away. You see, it's been 24 hours since that last clip, I believe, and we've got the Lush Cave done, but that's not it. This Enderman is now Superboy. And it doesn't stop there. We are now playing with shaders. I thought I'd try out some shaders after a long time. Thanks to KD Plays. He has a great tutorial on settings for BSL shaders. And the frame rate is good. And honestly, it looks amazing. Any other shaders I've ever tried has that foggy type filter on it, and I just never liked it, but this one is very satisfying. I don't know if we'll keep the shaders on in future episodes, but I thought I'd try it out. You know, you can't knock it till you try it. Plus, it makes the void floor look that much more amazing. I mean, look at that. Putting distractions aside, though, it is time to reveal the Lush Cave. Now, you saw most of it in the time-lapse, but you don't really get the full effect of it until you do a walkthrough. Now, like I wanted to keep it, it is just a tear in the wall, very subtle. You know, it's something that if you are up there and just looking around, you might discover it, you might miss it, but it is not so hidden that, you know, it's not impossible to see it. You know, it's here. It's just a nice little tear. So walking into the cave, I tried my best to texture everything. I think I did a really good job. There were some things that I would like to go back and do, and I may do that when I have a little more time, but honestly, I think it's perfect with these type things. Once you get to a stage that you're satisfied with, you kind of have to call it good sometimes, because sometimes these things are just time sinks and you work on it for absolutely forever. But going into this, I had some ideas that I wanted to incorporate, that being an axolotl pond, which we don't have axolotls in there just yet, but we're going to get there. And I wanted some actual azalea trees and a lot of greenery. Also, the spiral staircase is something that I thought of last minute, and there's going to be a little bit extra to this. Huge, massive thanks to Tax Flower Shop for supplying all the flowers. She's got such a variety. I think she has every flower in the game in that shop. It's so awesome. And, you know, honestly, if I didn't have access to all those flowers like that, I probably wouldn't have used this many. The only other interesting part of this build is this purple wall here. Talking about peeking behind the curtains, that is actually the backdrop to one of the Endermans, of course. When I was trying to build up the stone wall there, my intentions were to cover it completely. Once I made this fancy design here, I figured it looked pretty cool, just leaving that rock spike there and having the wool peek out from the stone. It looks absolutely amazing. It seems like I say this a lot these days, but I think this may be my favorite build so far. Maybe. You know, there are other things. There is a giant pit right next to us, but this is so cool. I've never really built a lush thing like this. It looks so amazing. Let me know what you think of this build down in the comments. And for the 2 people who wanted me to save this cave, I hope it met your expectations. I was really trying to make it something, and, you know, once again, I impressed myself. You know, I'm trying to work on being a better builder these days, and I think ever so slightly, I am learning a thing or two. I'm pretty satisfied with this. And before I let it fly right past me, a minute ago I mentioned that there was a little more of that Lush Cave than I was telling you, and it is actually right here. I have a plan to connect that staircase up and make a cave path all the way to this flat spot into this wall. Now, obviously, that is not something I can do this episode, but we're going to dedicate an entire episode, if I can help it, to it, because that is just a really cool idea. And honestly, caves aren't that big. You know, you make them 6 by 6 or 7 by 7, and then you just got to make them look lush, and it's a really nice build. I've done a few smaller caves in the past, but nothing this large, so I'm pretty excited about it. However, guys, I hate to say it, but that is all the time I have left for this episode. However, don't go just yet. There is a little bit more to be had. As a server, we went and fought, I think, about 16 dragons in the end to unlock all the portals. So we now have a full end with all 20 portals unlocked. And it was a really fun time. It only took about an hour because there were 6 or 7 of us. But for the last few minutes of this episode, I'm going to put together a little montage if I can of some of the highlights of the evening. But remember to hit that like and subscribe buttons. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in episode 20 of Paperhats Season 3. Stay for the montage. Oh, explosive mustache.
Let's go.
Whoop.
Oh God, no.
That's a good way to start the fight. It's not a Paper Hats dragon fight without a... Oh gosh, no.
Yeah.
I love all the flaming arrows just flying.
We can do it.
Yeah.
Yay.
I was gonna die before you.
Hey, yay.
Yeah.
It just wanted to come down and Tack said no.
That was one heck of a shot too, actually. I just kind of like threw the shot over my shoulder and then came into the land.
That's awesome.
Now we can't hit it. There we go.
Woo!
Hey.
I can't believe that's the first time.
GG. We're very intimidating.
The most intimidating group.
Yes.
People
Exactly.
who can't land a single
I
bush.
mean, look at all of these arrows.
It should be dead by now.
Oh.
Damn.
All right.
Damn!
Oh no.
I forgot that they
no.
blow up before, like, as they spawn in.
I don't have it.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh no.
rip.
Oh, the dragon's still alive. All right.
Yeah, it was still alive.
Tack
I just assumed it was dead. Oh no.
Now he's dead.
Yay.
Got him.
Hey. Hooray.
Nice.
Yay.
Don't need sharpness.
Oh, I definitely do.
You're so sharp.
Dan,
you
just
bring your
accept
own
the compliment.
sharpness.
Yay.
Hooray. Big lizard bird.
Oh, stop.
Kelsey, you're up.
Hit it, Kelsey.
No.
You have to jump. Oh, there you go. Never mind. Very nice.
I got
Pretty sure you're in Wisconsin.
Okay, I see the ground.
Yay.
I see the ground. I know where I am now. Okay.
Nice.
Did you get that one, Dan?
I don't know. Maybe. I just saw that I hit it from really far away.
Good shooting, Tex.